Hi, this is Elazar with those video guys here at the London Super Comic Con. And I'm about to go over to Panini, who is better known as Marvel UK. They do a great range of graphic novels, reprinting previously unavailable comics. I'm here with Brady Webb from Panini. Hello, Brady.
Hi there. Hi.
Well, I discovered the X-Men reprints that you've been doing in the pocket-sized books.
Yes.
And I've just been completely enraptured of being able to reread all these comics from my childhood in such a wonderful form.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're enjoying them.
But I was speaking to you or one of your colleagues at the last convention, and you were telling me about the various restoration work that has to go into actually printing these, because they're not necessarily all in the greatest order.
No. Sometimes, depending upon the actual title, we're working purely off the original film, and sometimes that isn't always in the best state. So we've got a team of very, very good designers who are actually able to go in and clear up and recolour this material. Certain other books, for instance, are incredibly popular reprints of the original Captain Britain's, along with Death's Head as well, and Dragon's Claws and Knights of Pendragon, to name other titles we've done. The film doesn't exist, and that is an even harder restoration process, because what we need to do there is actually find original copies of the comics, borrow them from collectors or from our own personal collections, and we then had to do the painstaking task of scanning those in at an incredibly high resolution and then cleaning them up. And Captain Britain Volume 1, for example, was particularly problematic, as, of course, a lot of these comics were originally published as weeklies on newsprint. So you have a tendency as well of the black, especially, and any of the other colours bleeding because of the absorbency of the paper. So restoring those to a good enough quality for modern printing is particularly difficult, and has taken many, many hours and is very expensive. But it's a labour of love, and we know that there are fans out there who want them, who've been clamouring for these titles to be back in print and available, because actually tracking them down, as we've found, is incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult.
So when Panini took over the Marvel UK license, was it then a case of actually just going through the archives and discovering that there was a lot missing?
The issue was mainly when Marvel UK moved from London down to Tunbridge Wells, and a lot of fans will weep at this. I know I did when I joined the company, and I found out a lot of the archive was thrown away. Now, when Marvel was in London, we had a very comprehensive archive. It had a copy of every single issue that Marvel had produced. However, moving, they had to pare it down, and a lot of it was donated purely to charity shops, and the rest went into skips. This also included artwork and original film. So when I took over the graphic novel program for the UK, and I said we need to bring this material back into publication, it meant that we had to go back through our archives, see what we had missing. I was able to draw on my own collection, and what I didn't have, I was then able to get in contact with various other collectors and say, would you lend us your comics? I promise we'll look after them, and have them scanned in, and then start the process of cleaning them up and restoring them.
So you must have spoken to quite a few artists then, who must have been absolutely horrified when they found this out.
Some of them did, some of them didn't. I remember speaking with Herb Trimpe and asking him if he actually had any of the artwork left. He said no, and he was very nonplussed about it, because this is the difference that you get between the comic fan and the comic creator. The comic fan is incredibly passionate, is really passionate about this. The comic creator, especially back in those early days, it was work for hire. It was a job. And the amount of artists I know as well who've gone, I've got so much art sitting up in my loft, you know, I can actually hear the attic roof groaning, and I'm worried that it's actually going to fall through. They don't realise at times just how much of a gold mine they're sitting on. So yeah, even they sometimes have binned their own artwork. It's a shame, but them's the breaks, you know. One
thing you guys are doing particularly well is that you seem to be coming out with volumes which even Marvel US aren't presenting. Not just the British stuff, but actually some of the American titles as well. What is the thinking when you decide what are we going to actually release for the UK market?
We're looking for what we know that the British fan is after, and if there are any gaps that we noticed that Marvel US have overlooked. In some cases, for instance, with Marvel US had allowed that to go out of print for many years, and we thought it was a perfect opportunity to actually bring it back in print as a trade paperback, and we did, and it sold fantastically well, and we sold through our print run. And then it's just a case of keeping certain titles back in print. Obviously, for us, we are a business, so there is a financial cost implication, and I have to seriously weigh up and go, are we going to make any money on this book? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But there are certain titles like Captain Britain that just have that evergreen quality. There are fans out there, there are new fans who are discovering the characters. They want these titles, and they're just overjoyed that they're able to actually now get hold of them. And of course the great other thing is we get to stick extras in. Like with Captain Britain Volume 1, we put in the Captain Britain mask that came with issue 1.
I think you've done a great job with the X-Men pocketbooks, and it is quite astonishing they're not available. A lot of those titles aren't available in the US.
Our license doesn't permit us to export to the States. We actually do not sell through any channels to do that. However, there are online retailers, we have no control over that. And in fact, I have had emails from various actual US comic writers who are big fans of our collections, and they've emailed me just going, thank you so much, this is brilliant. And I'm thinking, how are you getting these? Obviously they're going on to online retailers and ordering them up.
Keep up the good work. I'm just really looking forward to see what else you guys come up with.
Oh, keep your eyes open, keep peeled. We've got some great titles coming out later this year. So.
Any more stuff from the 80s?
Oh yes, we've got plenty coming out. In fact, one of the interesting books that we're currently restoring, and that's taken quite a bit of work, is John Byrne's X-Men: The Hidden Years, which is currently, it's totally unavailable. So we've been redigitizing that and sorting it all out.
Good, excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Cheers. Take care.